Hi, this is the Love Your Life Show with Susie Pettit, Certified Life and Wellness Coach. Join Susie as she helps you with your wellness and mindset so you can live a life you love. Let's go, Warriors!
Warriors, hello and welcome to another episode of the Love Your Life Show with me, Susie Pettit, your Certified Life and Wellness Coach. I am accenting the wellness today because of this episode. I am so excited to bring it to you. We are, if you're listening to this live time, we are in the middle of the calendar year. And as a coach who's here supporting you, living your best life, you know I'm all about stopping every so often to make sure that the daily actions you're taking in said life are aligned with that best life for you. And I know that it's halfway through the year and a good time to reflect on how we started the year, our word of the year, and our goals for the year. And for many of us, it's summer or school holiday time. And what can sometimes happen in that time is our brain can get pretty teenager sounding like, with the sort of like, what's the point? Or screw it, or I'll get to that in September. Okay? No fear, the Love Your Life Show is here. My intent for today's episode is to be a both and. Okay, to show you how you can both relax and chill and enjoy your life and choose things that are healthy and well for you. To let you have your relaxed attitude, and if you're on vacation, have your vacation, and support you with your daily actions. It's not an either or. Okay, what I want is a kind of wellness for you that's supportive, not punitive. Okay, they go hand in hand. I'll link a lot in the episode show notes today, smbwell.com/258. Okay, but one that particularly applies right now that I'm thinking of is the all or nothing thinking. Okay, we were talking about it sort of when we're judging other people or when we're parenting in that episode. It also 100% applies to wellness. Okay, in that we can vacillate between this like, get your act together, do the right thing, quote unquote, the right thing, and be sort of drill sergeant with ourselves. Or swing all the way to the other side and be like, what's the point? Screw it. This won't matter. I'll get back to this in September way of thinking. Okay, both create emotional drama, and that's not what I want for you. And it's usually between the all or nothing where ease and true wellness is found. Let me restate that. It's not usually, it's always between the all or nothing where true wellness is found. It's in the small things we do daily. We don't actually need massive changes. Small hinges move big doors. And so today I am zooming my focus in to wellness. I'm putting on my wellness hat, actually. I'm going to give you lots of small options and ideas that you may already be doing or that you can easily start doing, no matter the time of year. I know I have a lot of new listeners, and many of you may not know that I'm a certified wellness coach. In fact, I used to be a personal trainer, group fitness instructor, and integrative nutrition coach. Yes, I got started helping people with their eating plans and their exercise routines. I then went on to develop my 5 pillars of wellness and connect it with the mindset work I do now. Okay, which means that I have a lot of knowledge in my head that I sometimes don't share because I just think everyone else knows that. And yet today I want to just stop and pause and share because I think it can help you. And let me just say, I have 2 intents for today's episode. I want to encourage you to tell yourself the whole truth and also give you a plethora of wellness options so you can start or restart right now. So let's start with the first. What do I mean by tell yourself the whole truth? Well, you tell me the next time you skip a workout you had planned to do, or you eat the thing you said you didn't want to eat, or you have the extra drink that you didn't want to have because it makes your skin ruddy and disrupts your sleep. What does the voice in your head say? Like while you're doing it? Does it say it's a treat? That this won't matter? Who cares? You can get back to it next month, next week, in September. Okay, telling yourself the whole truth looks like being honest with yourself in the whole way, without shame. Okay, being honest with how good it will feel to not be a dictator with your wellness in September. Okay, how maybe taking a small act of resisting an urge now can lead to you enjoying the summer overall and shifting how you view wellness and healthiness. Okay. Telling yourself the whole truth is done with kindness. It sounds something like this in my head. Hey, I see you telling yourself you don't want to go to the gym right now, but I also know how much you love being in a movable, healthy body. Or when our brain is encouraging us to do that sort of F-it eating that I call it, like screw it eating, it's like just finish the cake. Why does it matter? You've already had a piece. Start tomorrow or in September. What being kind to ourselves could look like is saying like, hey, you, I heard you say you like fitting into those white shorts. Do you think your brain is being really helpful to you right now and saying it wants you to finish the cake? That's a treat? Or maybe the treat is the white shorts. What will make you proud tomorrow, sweetheart? You see how my voice is kind? Okay? It's that kind. It's not shameful. It's like when we're kind with ourselves, we can think like, oh yeah, I guess I was telling myself that if I knock that cake back, that'll feel good. But you know what will feel really good is being able to button my shorts. This isn't about not having the chocolate cake, warriors. This is where I'm saying with that all or nothing. It's the middle ground. It's about being honest with yourself and living mindfully. When I'm telling myself the whole truth, I am more able to be mindful and take action that aligns with how I want to be. Instead of lying to myself and saying, I better eat all the chocolate cake now, it's a treat, and who knows when I'll get more, or whatever nonsense my brain is telling me. When I slow my thinking down and tell myself the truth by saying, you know what? Actually, some of that cake will be nice. Let me take it a bite at a time and really sit and savor it. When it no longer tastes amazing, I'm going to stop because I know it's really not a treat to feel overfull, nor is it a treat to feel bloated because I ate more than my system could digest. Kindness, not shaming. I call myself out in a kind and supportive way. If you haven't done the writing episode I speak of in the episode on the inner rebel versus the inner coach, add that to your queue and do it. It's one of the kindest things you can do for yourself, and I'll put the link to that episode in the show notes also. And now on to the second part. Okay, the first part is telling ourselves the whole truth. The second part is a whole bunch of little wellness things that I do daily for my wellness. Okay, my intent is to provide a lot of options. My intent is not to overwhelm you. Okay, all of these things are simple, yet if we've been doing something one way for a long time, our brain will resist change. So they're simple, possibly not easy. Okay. I've been reading and researching and practicing wellness and health for at least 30 years. Okay, so I don't want you to feel overwhelmed because I would hope that a lot of the things that I'm doing, you're not doing. And guess what? I'll bet you're doing things that I'm not doing. So please share those, by the way. The more we can keep a growth mindset of what we're doing for our wellness and what we can add to our routine, the healthier we'll be. So no matter your age or current health status, choose one and get started today. These are so small and they build on each other quite well. Which, remember that episode from earlier this summer on the top 2 habit tools for busy women? Okay. I'll put that in the show notes too. That is why using those tools is why my day looks like my day does today, that these things just are habitualized in my brain. I don't even have to make a decision. I'm deliberate about using them. In fact, when I was making this episode and I was typing up the show notes and the prompts for me to record it, I just kept coming up with like more and more ideas. I was like, oh, I do this too. Oh, I do that because I've habitualized it. Okay, so that is the genius of my work and how I support people is I help people habitualize, use their brain hacks for wellness and longevity and living lives we love. Okay, so these things work, warriors. Let's get started. Okay, if I'm talking about a product, I'll put the link in the show notes. If I'm talking about a practice, I'll put the link in the show notes. If I forget a link, let me know. So let's get started with looking at how I get started. Okay, first thing in the day, 2 things. Alarm and smile at the ceiling. The first kind thing I do for myself, my confidence, and my wellness is I wake up when my alarm goes off. No snooze. I decide the night before when I'm going to wake up, and when the alarm goes off, I get up every single day of the week. Some days, like weekends for sure, I wake up before my alarm. The point here is that I habitualize my brain to do what I say I will do. So the first action of my day is that I keep my word to myself. I have my own back. This is one of the easiest ways to strengthen our ability to delay short-term gratification and to increase our confidence. Wake up with your alarm. No snoozing. And then the second part I'm talking about is you smile at the ceiling. Okay? Have the first conscious thing you do after you hit off on the alarm, no snooze, is you turn up the corners of your mouth. Our brain is a funny thing in that if you turn your mouth into a smile, try it now. Your brain looks for reasons as to why you're smiling. There's scientific evidence for this. How cool is this, eh? I love priming my brain in this easy way to look for what's going well in my life instead of letting the brain do its pre-programmed drama of looking everything that's going wrong. Okay, so it's like smile, no snooze. Another thing I do in the morning, I go into the bathroom for my tongue scraper. 4 scrapes. Have you heard of a tongue scraper? I started using a tongue scraper probably 5 years ago and I'm never going back. This is something that you might be like, of course, Susie, maybe you're doing it. I know it's quite common in other cultures. Okay, if you don't know what a tongue scraper is, get one. They're totally inexpensive and they're a great way to rid your body of toxins. Okay. More things about my morning and ways I make it easy for myself and my wellness. I personally like to exercise in the morning. And to make it as easy as possible for myself and to be a friend for myself and not get into the drama of should I work out today or not, I lay my clothes out the night before. Okay, this actually brings up a good point that a question I constantly ask myself in all areas of my life is how can I make this easier? Like I have the idea of what's best for my future self and my adult Susie. And then I'm like, how can I hack my brain with a habit and make my life easier? All right, moving on, more morning habits. I squeeze 1 full lemon and put 1 pinch of Celtic sea salt into a big glass of water. It's probably, I don't know how many ounces, 12 to 20 ounces of water. And I drink the whole thing before coffee. It's protective to my gut and another easy detoxifying immune boosting step. Oh, also, I put sunblock on each and every morning. Okay, before I leave the bathroom, actually, no matter the weather. Next week on the podcast, I interview a master esthetician, and she shares some surprising information about how to care for our skin and our aging skin in particular. And so it now has me doubly committed to applying sunblock multiple times a day. So I do it in the bathroom before I leave for the day. Like when I'm done exercising, I put it on. And then no matter the season or the weather forecast, I have it in another bathroom in my house, so I reapply it. Moving on to general self-care and wellness, I always have my phone on silent and all of my notifications except for text messages are off. So another way of saying this is like I control my phone instead of letting my phone control me. Okay? This means no noises are coming from my phone to disrupt my thinking, and the only little bubbles I see are texts. This is an area I don't want to skip over, and it relates to the next piece, which is deliberate consumption of content. I do not watch the news. I do not have my phone send me news or social media updates. I'm incredibly deliberate about the information I feed my brain at all times of the day, and especially so in the morning. If you're going to shift one thing, pay attention to what you do with your phone first thing in the morning. I know my husband doesn't look at his phone before 8. Okay, I know other people have other rules around it. Okay? I am not going to give some device in my pocket or on the countertop control over my thinking and feeling state. Remember, we feel what we feel because of the thoughts we're thinking. Okay, so if you're feeling and you've smiled at the ceiling and you walk in and you look at your phone and you see some drama, because remember, like with the news, blood cells are looking for that clickbait, you're going to feel drama. I am very deliberate about what I allow into my environment because there's a lot I can't control. Like say I do, I have my lemon water and I'm about to sit down and my kid comes down crying because she saw a picture of her friends at a gathering last night that she wasn't invited to. Or my son comes down and he's snippy because he's snoozed too many times and now he might be late for work. Or my husband shares he's stressed out because of an email he just read. Like that would be if he got on his phone before 8, okay? I can't control any of those things. Or at least I don't want to be so rigid that I'm in some like no talking zone, like sitting in a closet. Like I like being in relationship with the people I'm in relationship with. But I can control my actions, whether I check my email, whether I scroll social or the news feed, whether I have notifications on or not, whether or not I push snooze. Okay, where does your phone wellness and your tech habits need a little shift? How could you take back some of your control? and protect your wellness around outside sources of information. Another thing some people do is like have a TV on in the morning or the news radio. Ask your brain why. Why do you have these things on? Why are you telling yourself it's important? If it's someone else in your house who turns them on, how could you take a little more control over that? Okay. Many of us have been brainwashed into believing we need to watch the news or get updates to be a certain kind of citizen or human. I'm here to push back on that programming a bit, to point out to you that that is a thought you are thinking. When we think thoughts over and over, especially thoughts that someone else has given us that they benefit from, they become beliefs. Okay, so maybe you still want to watch the news. You still want to get alerts or scroll whatever on social media. Are you doing it at a time that's helpful for you? Are you following people who lift you up? If not, dear warrior who I care about, why not? My encouragement is to go to the settings in your phone, click on notifications, and have your wise adult self ask yourself why you have certain notifications on. Do you really need that blast of news or alert from Target? Another general wellness habit I have, which is a little lighter, is that for every item of clothing or household thing that I purchase, I get rid of one. So one thing in, one thing out. One shirt in, one clothing item out. One cool Bali decoration in, one household item out. Okay, listen to your brain if it says it's too hard. Okay, I'm like a master at this, and yet I just need to point out, one short year ago, my husband and I packed all of our belongings into 5 suitcases, everything. Clothes, trinkets, etc. Okay, and if I can find something to get rid of from that small pile, you can too. Yes, it's sometimes hard to find something to get rid of, but it's harder to have clutter and excess things around that we don't need. External clutter creates internal clutter. I don't want that for you. Set yourself up for ease. All right, I'm just looking at the time here, and I don't want this episode getting too long, so I'm just going to drop some sort of fast wellness options for you to consider one after another. And if you want more info, reach out. Mouth tape. I use it every night. Kegels. Find a time to do at least 2 sets of 10 every day. Orgasm. Make it happen at least once a week. I'm not saying anything about penetrative sex here. I've had enough sex experts on the show to know that telling people how often they should be having sex is a very personal and unhelpful thing for me to do. And I will stand on a soapbox and say, please choose to have an orgasm at least once a week. Okay, the benefits to you are outrageous. If you're in a female body, last week I had the menopause expert on the show, and the one thing we know about the female body is that the saying, use it or lose it, is accurate. Not only that, okay, so that's for like the tissue in our vulva and the blood flow, and not only that, the only purpose of the clitoris is for female enjoyment. Like that is the only purpose of that whole area and organ. Okay, connect the dots, warriors. To have an organ solely for our pleasure means orgasms impact a wide range of women's wellness. I have lots of data to back this up. Make time for yourself. Okay. While we're talking female health, here's one you may not know. Stop the just in case pee. You know those times you're like, I'll pee now just in case. Or you walk by a bathroom and you pop in just in case. That's actually harmful for our bladders and increases the likelihood that we'll be incontinent later on. Reach out to me if you want to learn more. For now, no more just in casing. Meals. In terms of eating, I definitely use my practice of telling myself the whole truth about what I'm eating, what I was talking about earlier. And add in here a little wellness tip. Aim for each meal to pop. Okay? POP at each meal for midlife health and wellness. POP stands for produce, healthy oil, and protein. Okay? Fill up on the produce. Add more protein than you think and drizzle it all with olive oil and watch your body respond positively. Sleep mask. I started using a sleep mask 7-8 years ago and I will not go back. The one I have is super soft and it looks as good today as it did when I bought it from Amazon. I'll put a link in the show notes. Every sliver of light impacts your deep sleep, and one thing I know for sure is a tired brain is a mean brain. Prioritize your sleep. Okay. Speaking of sleep, I aim to stop eating and drinking at least 2 hours before bed, preferably 3. Okay. Other health experts encourage us. They use a 3-2-1 rule for sleep. They say stop eating and drinking 3 hours before bed. Stop engaging on your phone, email, or social media 2 hours before bed. And stop all tech, all screens, TVs, etc. 1 hour before bed. This is a great example of taking the best practice of these experts telling me 3, 2, 1 and making them good enough. Okay, that's best, great, but that doesn't work for my lifestyle all the time. I prioritize family dinners, and to me, family dinners are more important than going to bed, like not eating 3 hours before I go to bed. Because sometimes my kids' practices are late and dinner was more at 7, and I go to bed between 9 and 10, so it's not like I'm going to stay up till 11, so I have that 3 hours, nor is it that I'm going to miss family dinners with my kids. So this is where it's helpful for you to look at small wins, instead of hearing this 3, 2, 1 and dismissing it because it doesn't fit into your life. Ask yourself, how could a part of it fit into your life? There's always room for growth. Okay, where's your pre-bed area for growth? I'm going to stop there. I've actually left a lot unsaid. Okay, I didn't speak about any of my end-of-day sort of yay me practices, meditation, stretching, water drinking and the rest of the day, how I don't eat naked fruit, how I use essential oils for my brain health, supplements. Oh my, I could do 15 episodes. I have so much juicy information that can help you. Small, actionable things you can do to shift your wellness. And that is a lot of what I'll be offering in the Love Your Life School this fall. Okay, find out more at smbwell.com/loveyourlife. Okay, Love Your Life School, I guess it is. No, it's not. It's smbwell.com/life school. There you go. Okay. I was like, I did not make you type 1,500 things there. Just /life school. For today, though, I am stopping. Okay. I gave you a lot of things you can try. And the very, very, very last thing I want you to do is to overwhelm you. So choose, remember, how we move forward and have lives we live is by taking action. So choose 1 or 2 or 3 of these things and try them. Okay. I encourage you to tell yourself the whole truth, to call out your brain if it's doing some sneaky thinking, if it's being your inner rebel, and to 2, choose one of these things, 2, 3 of these things that'll support your wellness, okay? And move forward with it. Please share with me what you're doing in our private Facebook group or on my Instagram post, and also share the things that you do that you think have a big impact. We can learn from each other, okay? So great. Oh my gosh, before I go, I want to shine some big love on my Warrior of the Week. Talk about soul care and wellness. I could read this Warrior's review every hour of every day. So here it goes. She left, how you become a Warrior of the Week is you leave a review on Apple Podcasts or you support the show on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Susie Pettit, all one word. Okay. This woman or girl, she left 5 stars. Her screen name is Sabbatical Girl. And she said, it's hard to believe this podcast is free, given how incredibly valuable the content is. Every single episode is so smart and helpful and certain to have a profound effect on your daily life. Even the ones that you don't think will be as relevant to you in your life turn out to be total game changers. I am always excited to strap on my sneakers and head out for a power walk when the newest episode drops. I have made big changes to my life since I started following this podcast and working with Susie. The fact that she, oh my goodness, talk about notifications. That's how I get on with my client. The fact that she wants to share her knowledge with all of us in order to help us love our lives more is a real gift. 2 enthusiastic thumbs up. So thank you, Sabbatical Girl. Thank you, Warriors, for listening. You know I get on here every single week bringing you real and honest content to help you live lives you love. I'm in it with you. I love you. Let's go get them this week.
Thank you for listening to the Love Your Life show. If you want to hear more from Susie and support the show, be sure to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes. Also, leave a review and share this podcast with friends and family. Go get 'em, Warriors.